Welcome to the Queen City of Cincinnati, baseball's oldest franchise and the best Hall of Fame of any baseball team in the world. It's the Reds Hall of Fame weekend here at Great American Ballpark. And who do we honor this weekend? We go back to the 18th century, the old-time first baseman, as the Twins and Reds match up in interleague baseball competition. Let's go back to John Riley. Not a name that many Reds fans of today remember, but he was solid offensively, even more solid defensively. He's being inducted into the Reds Hall of Fame tonight. Go to the Big Red Machine era, and you find another big name. It's a big bat and a big glove, Dan Dreesen. He led the league in defense every year. He was solid offensively. He was one of the stalwarts of the Big Red Machine era during the 1970s. That's Dan Dreesen. He goes into the Hall of Fame tonight as well. And oh yeah, how about the mayor? He could blow bubbles, he could swing the bat, and he could excite the fans of Cincinnati. Number 21 is back, Sean Casey, elected as well to the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame, all inducted tonight at Great American Ballpark. Hi, hello, and welcome to Cincinnati. Along with the Cowboy Jeff Friendly, George Grant. Cowboy, what a special weekend.
Oh, I can only imagine for the guys, Dreesen and Casey, that are here. You'd love for a guy like John Riley or his family to be here, being inducted into the Hall of Fame. There are so many players out there right now, George, that wish that their team did it the way the Cincinnati Reds do it.
Danny Dreesen will join us later. You'll hear from Sean Casey tonight and tomorrow night as well. All of them, of course, are first basemen, and the Reds have maybe the best first baseman in all of baseball right now. Joey Votto's red hot.
Well, I think if you were giving out the Nobel Prize for hitters in baseball, it would be for that man right there. A smile on his face. Don't think that that's something that you see often, because when he comes to the plate, it is all business. This guy studies the game. He knows who he's going to face from the starter of the ball game all the way down to the closer. And it's not just about hitting for Joey Votto. It's about winning baseball, not only from the offensive side, but also from the defensive side. This guy is he is a champion.
Joey Votto's numbers impressive, June, and his rank around Major League Baseball. He's at the top of the list. The Twins spent most of the 90s and into the 2000 decade at the top of the list. They're struggling of late. They're in town with Ron Gardenhire. It's the Reds and the Twins in Interleague Baseball coming up next.
Yesterday's day off came at a good time. Guys coming and going from the lineup. A heartbreaking defeat to the Tribe. Now, a fresh start and a beautiful night. 82 down to about 74 by the time you're headed home. Play solid from now until the All-Star break. Enjoy the game on Fox Sports Ohio.
That's our Hall of Famer, Tim Hedrick. Justin Morneau, he's heading to the Twins Hall of Fame. He's an all-star. And when you look at it, Cowboy, a guy that had all the numbers you could ever imagine, an MVP candidate every year, he struggled of late, though.
You know, a lot of things going into Morneau seem to be literally from the neck up. There have been so many issues, whether it's being hit in the head, whether it's been the neck surgery, a lot of things that happen that may be going on inside of his head, may be affecting what is happening on the field of play. You just can't get by that sometimes.
Justin Morneau, Joe Mauer, two guys who led the train here. Brandon Phillips, Joey Votto, they've signed the multi-year deals. They lead the train in Cincinnati. These two trains colliding in interleague baseball. Their first meeting in 11 years. Coming up next on Fox Sports Ohio. Trend Truck of the Year by Cincinnati USA. Let us be your travel guide to Cincinnati USA. Visit CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline Chili. Game time is Skyline time. Stop by your favorite Skyline Chili today. Very pleasant night. Hot and humid earlier. It's cooled off a bit here at Great American Ballpark. Ron Gardenhire, the 11-year manager of the Minnesota Twins, brings his club to town for the first time in 11 years. The Twins overall have an 8-7 record against the Reds in interleague competition. Let's check our AXA Advisors starting lineup for Gardy and the Twins. Denard Span will lead it off. Ben Revere will bat in the number 2 position. He is the lone 300 hitter in this lineup. Former National Leaguer Josh Willingham, very solid offensively, will hit behind him. Justin Morneau, the left-handed swinger, in at 241, will hit behind him. When you look at this lineup, you'll see a familiar name in Ryan Domit, the former catcher and first and right fielder for the Pittsburgh Pirates, now doing a lot of catching for the Twins. Jamie Carroll, another former National Leaguer, will be at second base. Very solid utility player who's won a starting job there. Carroll at second base, and Nick Blackburn, the pitcher, will get his first at bat of the year, and he'll hit in the number 9 spot. On the mound for the Reds, big number 34, the Texas native. Here is Senor Bailey.
Senor Smoke. That is what it used to be for Homer Bailey. It used to be all about how hard the pitch would be for Homer. Right now, it's about getting outs. And I tell you what, this is one guy that is really, in my mind, starting to make the turn, if he hasn't already made the turn, from thrower to pitcher, and he has really got it going on as of late.
So Homer's ready to go to work. He'll face Denard Span and in tied at third is the Reds' third baseman, Scott Rowland. Span can drop a bunt down, so Votto has to be worried down at first as well. He's got good speed. Behind the home plate, stationed there is the home plate umpire, Jerry Lane, the crew chief. Dan Bellino at first, Bob Davidson, the veteran, at second, and Mike Muchlinski is your third base umpire for tonight's encounter. First of three, tonight's game. Good crowd scheduled on hand, over 30,000. Sellout tomorrow and close to a sellout on Sunday as well on this Hall of Fame weekend. Two balls and one strike. Back will go Votto at first. Still in tied at third is Scott Rowland. Twins took batting practice for the first time in this ballpark, Cowboy, as the last time they played here was Old Riverfront Stadium, and the left-handed batters were enjoying the sun deck, huh?
Hey, I bet quite a few of their hitters were enjoying all decks in all areas. In other words, all hands on deck.
2 balls, 2 strikes to the leadoff hitter, Denard Span. That slice behind the bag. Cozart has to hustle, gets it over there, and they'll get him by half a step.
Silky smooth.
Here's your 4 defensive alignment. Zach Cozart's back at short. In the outfield, Ryan Ludwig will get the start. Chris Heisey in center. Drew Stubbs starting his rehab down in Dayton tonight. Jay Bruce is in right. Rowland at third. Cozart Phillips, the double play combo. Joey Votto at first. And Devin Mesoraco will catch Homer Bailey. That's your 4 defensive alignment. You talk about the growth of Homer Bailey. And it's been interesting, Cowboy. You're following the team every day. I'm here sporadically, but I've watched Homer grow this year, and I've watched Devin Mesoraco grow too behind the plate.
It really goes hand in hand, George. Both Mesoraco and his work with Homer Bailey, and it also goes with Mike Leake. All 3 of those young players have really come on collectively as a group. Mesoraco has been the catcher for both Homer Bailey and Mike Leake just about for every time that they've been on the mound. In the beginning part of the season, it was a little rocky. As of late, it has been awfully good.
That's drilled into right, a base hit by Ben Revere. So Revere gets the first hit, 1 out, 1 on. And that'll bring up Josh Willingham. Revere peers across the infield at the third base coach, Steve Little, veteran coach. And this is a veteran coaching staff. Gardenhire's the manager. Rick Anderson, a veteran pitching coach. Rick Stelmazik, who's been around for a long time, over 30 years with the Twins. He's seen the Twins build the first time in the 80s, dismantle, build again in the 90s, and come back and build again. And they're trying to build once again. Jerry White's the coach down at first in the first base coach's box. There goes the runner. Here comes your throw from Mesoraco. It will not be in time. He got that one on Bailey.
Well, we have seen that so many times, George, where early in the ball game, Homer forgets about the runner that's at first base, and you take that big knee and drive it up towards your chest. You're not going to give Mesoraco a whole lot of time to throw to second base.
So runner in scoring position for Willingham. Good run producer. Josh, born in Alabama, made his debut in the mid-2000s. Wherever he's been a solid offensive performer. And against the Reds, whatever uniform he's worn, he's given the Reds some trouble. Come up with some key hits over the years.
Well, he has a very unique ability to put the fat part of the bat on the baseball. You know, for Homer Bailey, as far as the guys stealing on him early, It's almost like establishing your fastball or establishing a breaking ball. If you establish that you will hold the runners early, they won't take off on you, and then you don't have to worry so much about it later in the game.
And it doesn't always necessarily mean, I mean, you know, you were very compact on the mound. You were a former shortstop, so you could use a slide step. You could do a lot of different things. Even if you don't use a slide step, just varying your timing can upset the running game. That's a strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes. See Willingham with runners in scoring position. He's been over 300 almost all year. Boy, did he start the year with a bang. He hit in 15 straight games, was the player of the week the second week of April in the American League. Tries to check it, dribbles it in front of the plate. Mesoraco throws it high, but Votto brings it down and taps the bag.
So Homer got away with one there, a hanging breaking ball. And instead of Willingham hitting the baseball, watch how this ball comes out of the hand. A hanging breaking ball. You could see Willingham start to swing. He held up, and the bat just stayed right in the spot where the ball broke to. Very fortunate for Homer Bailey to get that out, and the runner stays right there at second base.
Good job by Mesoraco. You saw him check the runner, and the old adage of the old catching coaches, the best ones the Reds have had. Rick Sweet worked with them a lot last year. Catch, clear, and throw. Catch the ball, clear the base, get a good throwing line to first, and he got exactly that. And fortunately, Willingham was off balance because the throw was high and he didn't get a good break towards first. If he had broken out of the box, he might have been safe.
Might have been a little closer.
So 2 away. Back to second, and they'll try to keep the runner close. Here's Morneau in a 241, 10 homers, 33 knocked in.
It should tell you a little bit about Zach Cozart that the pitchers and catchers are willing to turn and throw the ball at any moment or any time to second base to hold a runner close or to make an attempt to pick off a runner, because they know Zach Cozart won't bail out and let the ball get by. He's going to stop it one way or the other.
This time of the night, we've talked a lot about it over the years. The bright sunshine behind the pitcher, very difficult for the hitters to get a good clear view of the ball, and for the center fielder for the first inning or two, very difficult on a line drive hit towards left and left center field. Hop back and out of play.
George, you almost have to see the ball off the bat, and a lot of visiting players, outfielders, will keep their glove in between their eyes and the sun for the duration of the pitch before the ball ever goes into the air. Now Ludwig and Heisey, they've gotten a little bit used to it, but it is no easy task by any means.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Got him. Good bounce back by Homer Bailey. After the 1-out base hit, he gets out of the jam. To the bottom of 1 we go. Zach Cozart will lead it off. go to the bottom of 1. Homer Bailey got out of trouble. Dusty Baker looking for some runs after the day off, wanting to get back into a good scheme of offensive philosophy going into this one. Let's check our Axe Advisors starting lineup. Zach Cozart in the leadoff spot. Chris Heisey bats second. Joey Votto, you know his numbers, just out of sight. Brandon Phillips behind him, and then Jay Bruce will follow in right. The right-hander between the two lefties. Brian Ludwig will get the start in left. Scott Rowland, Devin Mesoraco, and the pitcher Homer Bailey will hit in the 9th spot. Here's Nick Blackburn, the starting pitcher tonight for the Twins.
Well, the big thing for Blackburn is going to be keeping the ball down and in the ballpark. You saw the 9 home runs that he's given up already in less than 50 innings. So that tells you that he has been quite susceptible to the long ball.
Here's Zach. What a difference a month makes. Last month he was around 200 almost the whole month. Finished 208 for the month. This month he's over 300 at 385. And what he's added, a couple of days off here or there. Dusty had him recharge the batteries. And Cowboy, we were in Cleveland and you heard the coaches talk about him there. He's gained a lot of respect among coaches and managers in the National League, and through this interleague stretch in New York, the Yankees, in Cleveland, the Indians respect the way this young man's playing baseball.
It's just amazing to have a rookie infielder look as though he's been in the big leagues for 10 years. He is as smooth as he can get in the field, base running, swinging the bat.
Knocked down, bounced up as Dozier. The throw not in time. Great play by Dozier. Got a glove on it. Didn't look like he'd even be able to get a glove on it. Came up with a good throw, but the hustle by Cozart beats it off for a base hit.
And that's the other attribute that I didn't quite get to, is the fact that everything that Zach Cozart does, he does with the most extreme amount of hustle that he can, and he gets a beat out infield hit right out of the gate.
So Zach's on, and here comes Chris Heisey. Heisey in at 265, a homer, 13 knocked in. Changes before the game. We alluded to it the other day in Cleveland. Drew Stubbs begins rehab at Dayton tonight. At least 1, 2, maybe 3 games down there. Then Dusty will have a decision to make on his roster. And also before the game today, good to see him in the clubhouse again, Cowboy, and good to see that he's healthy again. It's good to get Bill Bray back.
No doubt about it. I had a chance to talk with him for quite some time, and you know, his biggest issue is he felt personally responsible.
Hit pretty good to left. Looking up, shielding from the sun is Willingham, but he didn't have to look up because that's going to be gone. Willingham never did see the baseball, and for him it's a good thing it ends up in the seats. Heisey drills his second home run. The Reds take an early lead. That's what Dusty wanted, huh?
Oh, man. Well, the Reds have been able to do some awfully good things offensively as of late. And you see Chris Heisey take a pitch middle away and just hammer it over the 379 sign in left center field.
So a Heisey heist, and the Reds take a 2-0 lead, and here's Joey.
But Bill Bray, we were talking about Bray before the home run. Bray felt like it was a responsibility of his to really push and get ready in that bullpen when Madsen and Massett both went down early, and he just wasn't ready. He didn't have enough time to get ready, and he was hurt.
Well, we talk about all the areas that Joey Votto leads in, all the important offensive areas. There's another one right there. The leading walk producer in the league, leading intentional walk recipient as well. So Votto's in, and so far Blackburn hasn't retired a runner. There are the 2 Canadians down at first base. Joey Votto, Justin Morneau. Hey.
Well, with 30 doubles on the year, you might as well just walk him and see if somebody can drive him in rather than have him double and stand at second.
Well, here's Brandon. He's in at 288, 9 homers, 42 knocked in.
Phillips has been on a pretty good tear himself as of late.
You know, that helps Votto and it helps Bruce too.
Yes, sir.
You've been saying it since the beginning of the year. It's not just one guy. 3, 4, 5 have to produce together.
Well, it is this Cincinnati Red core. Votto, Phillips, and Bruce. I don't care how you slice it up, where you put them in the lineup. They are the core group that will make or break this ball club.
No balls, 2 strikes to Brandon. Still nobody out in the first. Reds have 2 in. That just misses. Jay Bruce on deck. Infield hustled by Cozart, homer by Heisey, 2-0 Reds. Bounce towards second. Votto will try to elude the tag, and he will not. They'll get Votto, and Phillips will be retired at first. 4-3 double play. Joey retired. So is Brandon Phillips.
Well, Votto does a good job trying to avoid the runner, the fielder at second base. But if Phillips had been running full speed all the way, he would have been safe at first base. He was just jogging down the line, assuming that the double play was going to be made. And it's too late to turn it on in the last couple of steps.
That step would have made a big difference.
It would have made a huge difference.
So it looked like a very promising inning. All of a sudden, the base runner erased. 2 away now, and here's Bruce. Jay at 251. 16 homers, 46 knocked in. Bruce with 46. Votto with 45. Phillips with 42. You like that even number distribution of runs batted in for those 3 slots.
And I think Jay has gotten better. I know that there's been a lot of talk about Jay not hitting with runners in scoring position, and at some points in time there have been some difficult times for Jay. But I think over the last 10 to 12 ball games, he has started to figure out a way. I don't know if it's been mentally or just talking with some of the other guys. He's trying to make it easier on himself in those situations, and he's come up big. He's been able to get the sacrifice fly or get the long ball or the ground ball that would drive in a run from third.
Let's check your Ford defensive alignment for the Twins. You know, during their heyday, defense was big for a Minnesota team. They've had injuries and had to bounce this lineup around. Willingham, known for his bat, is in left. Span, Revere, speed in center and right. Dozier and Carroll are the double play combo, and again Ryan Domit's behind the plate. Joe Mauer not playing again tonight. Mauer, of course, Gold Glove caliber behind the plate, has had like Borneau, a series of injuries. The most recent, a collision at home plate with Ricky Weeks of the Milwaukee Brewers, has put him on the sidelines, and they're still waiting for him to come back. They hope he'll be back sometime this weekend. You take Borneau and Mauer out of this lineup, as they have very often the last 2 years, it's a lethal blow. In the air to right. Revere at the edge of the warning track will squeeze it. Well, the Reds get some early production. Zach Cozart beats out an infield hit. Chris Heisey rips his second homer. Reds lead at 2-0. by Elk and Elk Serious Lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. We told you about Zach Cozart and how he's turned May showers into June delight. Well, how about these players? The way the changes have gone. Matt Wieters, the brilliant young catcher for the Orioles. Improvement of 140 points from May to June. And Jason, Chris, the Cowboy, you know, you saw Jason play with Atlanta, and it looked for a while as if he had really hit a stone wall. It looked really like his swing had gotten longer again, but the last time the Reds played the Braves, it certainly was a different Hayward they saw.
Well, he has changed his approach a little bit. Instead of trying to pull every ball out of the ballpark, he has decided that he's going to make his money in left center field, stay short, stay through the ball. That way he can keep his hands back to recognize the breaking ball. And if he does get a fastball, he'll shoot it the other way.
As we showed you, Trevor's on that list too. Hit 185 in May, 385 in June. That's a big double up. 252 overall, 14 homers, 25 knocked in. He, like Joey Votto, has been outstanding in interleague competition, and that continues with that base hit. He came in hitting 382 in interleague baseball. So leadoff batter on here in the second, and here comes Ryan Domit, the switch hitting catcher.
Well, Domit is the one guy in this lineup that is actually familiar with facing Homer Bailey. So if there's anybody down there that could give him a scouting report and at least be on target, it would be this guy.
And he's had some success. 5 for 13, 385 against him. Homer pitched very well against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and on a couple of games where he had difficulty, Domit was in the middle of rallies against him. So Homer's well aware of that. Ryan 6 homers and 31 knocked in with Dozier on deck. Hot back and out of play.
But the one thing that Homer has done much more of as he has progressed and matured as a pitcher is he has pitched left-handers in more. He's backdoored that breaking ball with some success. He's used the split finger. He is pitching now rather than just seeing how hard he can throw the fastball.
Nub to the left side, heading towards the foul line. It will be a fair ball. Drop into the seats down the left field line, so there'll be runners at second and third, as that'll go as a 2-base hit. Not a bad pitch, but a bad result.
Yeah, if you're Homer Bailey, you've got to be thinking yourself, you got to be kidding me. That ball hit within inches of being fair down the left field line on a pitch that was right on the knuckles of Ryan Domit. Watch where this baby lands. Bink. Nobody can get to that ball.
So second and third, the Reds keep the infield back with nobody out, and here comes Dozier. 238, couple of homers and 16 knocked in. Great to have you with us, George Grand and the Cowboy Jeff Brantley. Jeff Pecoro, Jim Day will be by to keep us up to date on what's happening with Reds Live post game, and what a festive weekend this is. It is Reds Hall of Fame weekend. Sean Casey, Danny Dreesen, and John Riley, the 19th century first baseman, all being inducted into the Reds Hall of Fame. Casey's here, Dreesen's here. Danny's going to join us next inning. Case will join us tomorrow, and you'll hear from Case. We talked to him briefly before the game tonight. He was a little late getting to the ballpark, Cowboy, and I don't know if I believe his story. He said it was traffic coming over from Pittsburgh. I got to believe he stopped at Skyline.
Yeah.
Fouled off. Made a long stop.
A tremendous honor for all three gentlemen.
Wow.
I tell you. And I meant it, George. I have had player after player from different organizations tell me that they wish that their organization would conduct their Hall of Fame inductions and ceremonies and all of the things that have to do with the Reds Hall of Fame the way the Reds do. Because the Reds do it big time. It is almost like being inducted into Cooperstown, except you're in Cincinnati. I mean, that's how big it is.
I've been blessed for 30 years to MC the Hall of Fame ceremonies in Cooperstown, and the Hall of Fame is a wonderful place in Cooperstown, but it is no less an honor. And you talk to the Reds Hall of Famers. Here's the 2-2. You talk to Joe Morgan and Johnny Bench and Tony Perez and everyone who goes to Cooperstown on a regular basis, and they'll tell you that the Reds do it as well as they do it in Cooperstown, meaning the dinner and everything that surrounds it, the way everyone's treated. It was great. I spent about an hour over there before the game tonight. Mario Soto's down there, Lee May's down there, Gary Nolan, Jack Billingham. They're all having a great time seeing each other. Fouled off and staying alive is Dozier.
Truly a gathering of greats. They just happen to be all Reds.
And forever they will be Reds Hall of Famers.
You got it. Well, this would be big if Homer could come up with a strikeout pitch here.
2-2.
Homer's trying to get to a pitch, and with a runner at second base, they're having to go through a different set of signs, and it takes quite a bit to get to it.
Oh, thought he had it.
Good slider right there, and it just didn't quite have the depth or the downward movement to the breaking ball. You can see it start to cut away, and Dozier just did nip it.
Try it again. 2-2. Yeah, they're going with fastballs up, breaking balls away.
Well, when you've got a batter like Dozier that has now had 9 pitches that he's seen, or that he's going, this will be the 9th pitch here on this at bat that he'll see. This is where if you can get a pitch that is down and in, it will flat lock him up. But it's got to be a perfect pitch right at the kneecaps, right on the money.
Setting up inside and up, and we'll go 3-2. Jamie Carroll on deck for the Twins.
Ten pitch at bats. They work you over a little bit.
Second and third, nobody out. Dribble down to short. A run will score. Cozart will take care of the out at first. Run batted in for Dozier, his 17th, and it's a 2-1 ball game.
That was a great at bat by Brian Dozier. He did everything he could do besides get a base hit. But the one thing he did not do was strike out, and that's what Homer Bailey was hunting for.
Twins have struggled in the American League offensively, but during interleague play they've hit better, and Ron Gardenhire saying that, you know, one of the things he's tried to do, understand interleague play, understand National League play. And again, we talk about it so often, the old adage, get him on, get him over, get him in. Quality at bats don't always mean a base hit. Move a runner over, just make contact with a runner at third.
And I think that's the one thing that the Reds have started to understand, and it's made them a better club. It's one of the reasons they're in first place right now, not just because of tremendous pitching, but also because at bats have gotten better and longer.
Reminds you a lot of 2010 when they made the postseason.
It really does, George. The at bats have become quality. They've become longer type at bats, very similar to what we saw from Dozier there. And what that does is you get to the bullpen earlier of the opposition. And normally, if you're facing the bullpen in the 6th inning, you're facing one of their pitchers that is not the best. Big strikeout right there.
That's the pitch that he thought he had Dozier on twice, but Dozier stayed alive.
Well, that pitch had much more depth to it. Watch this pitch go down instead of just flat away. You can see the bullet spin, and the ball goes straight down. If it stays flat, Carroll can foul it off. But with it going down, swings right over the top of it.
Here's Dink Blackburn, the pitcher. I mean, every American League team handles it differently. After the rash of pulled side muscles and other injuries that American League teams have had, many managers will just say, just stand there for 4 pitches or at the least bunt if there's a runner on. Don't do anything else.
Don't be foolish. And George, I know that you can see this. Homer Bailey has no panic to him whatsoever, even with runners at second and third and nobody out. He still made the pitches that he needed to make. And that's when you see a guy really starting to come and learning what this game is about.
How many times the last 2 years did you see him in those situations turn around?
Total meltdown.
Yep. Run around the mound, rub the ball up, move your hat around. Not there anymore, huh?
Yep. He gave away 1 run there, and that was lucky.
3 strikeouts. Reds lead at 2-1. Hey, Reds fans, if a Reds home run hits the Toyota sign during today's game, Gene Massey from Burlington, Kentucky, a proud owner of a 2012 Corolla, will win this beautiful new Tundra on display at Great American Ballpark. Register for your chance to win at an upcoming game by seeing your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Time for our AT&T trivia question of the night. How many Cokes has Jeff Brantley had so far? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Since 1960, who are the only 3 Reds to lead the National League in walks? Since 1960, who are the only 3 Reds to lead the National League in walks? And, of course, Joey Votto's heading to that right now.
It's not walks to UDF ice cream.
See, Casey would go for Skyline, you go to UDF.
You got it.
The only difference is he can take his, and if he doesn't finish it all, there's some left. But if you don't finish all yours, it's all over you on your way driving home.
I had to take my comforter in yesterday to Widmer's Cleaners.
And they say, you again?
Yeah. Spilled a gallon of ice cream that had melted while I was sleeping. Not good.
Rolling right back to Blackburn, and there's 1 away. Cowboy, how long as you watch Scott Rowland come back? I know Dusty is hopeful of getting, just as he was hopeful of getting Ryan Ludwig on a roll. He's got Scott Rowland back in the lineup, and he tells, you know, everybody that will listen, look, you know, you don't just come off the disabled list and start hitting again. It takes you a while. What do you see as you look at Scott Rowland since he's come off the DL?
Well, the one thing that I watch with Scott is where he puts his hands when he comes to the plate. As long as he's got them in an area that are really right around the right part of the chest, that right where the number is, basically. And if he keeps his hands there, then he's going to be in a really good spot to keep going.
A rocket shot at Dozier, and he throws out Mesoraco.
Tell you what, that kid hustles.
Yep.
Mesoraco, I'm telling you right now, even though his playing time has been limited because of Ryan Hanigan being the #1 catcher right now, there is going to come a day when it is Mesoraco's day. And when that day comes, it is going to be a great day for the Cincinnati Reds, and it's going to be a bad day for the National League pitching.
Well, you just saw Hanigan tap Mesoraco on the shoulder. It goes both ways. When Hanigan's catching, Mesoraco night in and night out is at the top step of the dugout. He's not sitting back in the tail end of the dugout just eating sunflower seeds. He's watching and learning, and he'll ask questions of Hanigan, and Hanigan will share with him during and after ball games. Toughest position to learn in baseball.
It really is, George. It really is, because you've got to learn, #1, you've got to learn how to hit up here, and then you've got to learn 12 other guys how they pitch.
Homer, right field. Over, reaching up is Revere, and he'll hold on. So a quiet 1-2-3 for the Reds as we head to the third. Top of the order, Denard Span due up. Steamy day around Reds country. Take a listen to this. Smile to Jeff Brantley's face. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Hey, Sundays are family days at Great American Ballpark. This Sunday, cheer on your Reds at half price with the Meyer Family Day deal. When one member of the family purchases a full price ticket, they'll get the option to purchase 3 additional tickets at half price. Plus, the first 8,000 kids 14 and younger receive Joey Votto batting gloves. For tickets to see your Reds this Sunday, call 513-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or Reds.com today. Some restrictions do apply.
Do those gloves come with the skill level as well? You can turn them up like 1, 2, 3, or 4 skill level.
Yeah. How about the bat too, huh?
Yeah.
You talk about, Homer Bailey growing up and growing into his own skin. We've sure seen number 19 do that the last 3 years, huh?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Here's Denard Span, bounced to short first time up. Down to first, but foul. Asked Jerry White, the first base coach.
What you're seeing more now with Homer Bailey, that when he wants to go up in the strike zone, he does it on purpose, not by mistake. He pitches down, and he pitches side to side, down in the zone, right at the kneecaps. And when he wants to come up with that 94-mile-an-hour fastball letter high, there ain't a whole lot you can do with it.
Watching, as you do when you watch side sessions, when pitchers in between their starts work out in the bullpen. The one thing I've consistently noticed this year with both Mac Jenkins and Brian Price, especially with Homer Bailey and with Matt Latos, is reinforcing staying down.
Yep.
In other words, they want it in the dirt. They want it down. And when you got a 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" pitcher that can give you that kind of angle, it changes the whole dimension of how you pitch.
It really does. It makes the area where the ball crosses the plate so much smaller, and the hitting area becomes so much smaller.
Votto takes it himself, one away. Tonight's Ohio Lottery Mega Millions jackpot keeps climbing from 47 to 50, now up to $55 million. Drawing is at 11 o'clock tonight. I guess you haven't won yet, huh, Jesse? You came back from Cleveland. I thought you got that one-way ticket on the bus and you were heading out of town.
You know, you talk about hitting area, George, and when you get Matt Latos getting the ball down there where Bailey is pitching, where Arroyo is pitching, where Cueto is pitching, and Mike Leake, if he's pitching down at that area, down at the kneecaps, you're going to have 5 studs.
Cozart knocks it down and throws it away, but it will go into the camera bay and the runner will go to second. Great stop by Cozart. Tried to bounce up, but off balance. The throw rocketed past Votto and into the camera bay. So it'll go as an error. A tough one to take. A great stop.
You see the sinking fastball. It got just a little bit of the plate, but Cozart gets to the ball and has just a little bit of trouble getting it out of the glove. Otherwise, he may have been able to make a throw right on the money.
So it goes as a base hit. The error allows the runner to go to second.
Sometimes when you slide like that, George, and you know this from playing infield, you end up with a handful of grass and dirt instead of a clean hand to get to the ball with.
They will overshift on Willingham. There goes the runner. Here comes the throw. Not in time, and another stolen base for Revere. The whole running game of the Twins is in that man's Revere. Here's his 14th.
It's the one thing that if Homer Bailey had to work on something, and he is going to have to work on this, is holding runners better, because this has happened in every start he's had. Even though he is pitching so much better, you can't give away little stolen bases, especially of third base.
Popped up. Here comes Bruce sliding, making the catch. Here comes the runner, and it will be a tie ball game. There's the difference.
That's it right there. You don't give him the stolen base of third, and the only reason Revere was able to steal third base is because Homer Bailey only looked once to second. Jay Bruce with a phenomenal catch and up, and then a bullet throw to home plate. But by that time, you're just not going to get a guy with the speed of Revere. These guys, as you said, they're having trouble scoring runs. So what they're trying to do now is they're trying to use their legs to move themselves around the base paths.
Mesoraco got the worst of that. Knocked his mask right off. And just as Ron Gardenhire got his scouting report on the Reds, which showed that Homer Bailey does not work rapidly to the plate. The same thing for Dusty Baker. The scouting report said that the only guy that's going to damage you with the running game is Revere. So from Homer's standpoint, that's even more important to concentrate with him on. 2 stolen bases for Revere, and the second one results in a get him on, get him over, get him in run. Tied at 2. Here's Morneau, who struck out first time up. Well, it seemed like every time Justin Morneau came to the plate, especially in that MVP year of 2006, it was like his bat was magnetized to the ball. He was aggressive, coming out at you. With what he's been through injury wise, it's taken its toll on his offensive approach.
Well, I don't care what sport you play, George, there's only so many times you can get hit in the head and still be an aggressive type of player. And especially in this game where you've got to stand 60 feet 6 inches away from someone with a baseball that they can either throw it down and away, they can throw it right at you, or they can break it at you and break it over the plate.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
You fight a mental battle every time you step in the box.
3 hopper into right field. Phillips takes care of it. Morneau is retired, but the damage done. Infield hit. Runner to second on the air, and a sacrifice fly. We're tied at 2. Danny Dreesen joins us next. In Cincinnati, there's the swing, there's the result. You know that move from the left side. Danny Dreesen, one of 3 electees and inductees into the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame. Cowboys, that a sweet swing or what?
Yes, sir. Even sweeter with that glove, I know that.
Big swing, big effort, part of the Big Red Machine, a guy who during the 70s and 80s became synonymous with winning here in Cincinnati, and we're very pleased to, number 1, congratulate you, Danny. Number 2, welcome you here. Congratulations on your Hall of Fame honor. I know it's been a special day for you already.
Thank you very much. It has been a special day, and my kids are excited. Everybody's excited about this day.
You know, when you look at what you guys have gone through as teammates, and just being in the room with you earlier today, it was like old home week. It was like you're in the clubhouse again, wasn't it?
Yeah, I got a chance to see some of the guys that I hadn't seen in quite a while, and it was just, it did me good. It brought back old memories, and none of them changed. Everybody stayed the same.
Very, very happy for you, Danny. I know that this is something that every ball player wants to be recognized for their work on the field. And I tell you what, I know that for you, this has got to be something that not just special for you, but for those that are around you.
Yeah, I got a lot of congratulations from some of the guys that I played with a long time ago before I turned professional, and they're super excited. All the folks on Hilton Head.
Oh, yeah.
They're excited, and it's just, like I said, my kids are buzzing. They're having a good time.
Now, how's the golf game down in Hilton Head?
It's pretty good, but I'm still not quite ready for George Foster yet. I'm working on it.
Well, now, let's put it this way. You're never ready for George, are you? Nobody is.
No.
You know he's coming 3 miles away.
Yeah. Man.
And if you don't see him, he'll tell you. When you think back on those days, what are the fondest memories for you, Danny?
You know, it's the closeness of the ball players on that team, the Big Red Machine team. I played with some other teams, and they didn't have near the chemistry that the Big Red Machine had. You walked into the clubhouse back then, and everybody's just yelling. You think it's a party or something going on in there. Everybody's getting ready for the game.
Heisey's going to try for two. Here comes a throw. It'll be wide, and Chris Heisey, who homered his first time up, doubles here with a one out in the third after Crozart flied out. So one away, Heisey on. And speaking of chemistry and speaking of ability, we were talking earlier over at the Hall of Fame about this guy who's coming to the plate right now. You were a great combination, offensive player, Gold Glove caliber first baseman. What Joey Votto is doing right now is out of the same mold that you had as a Red.
He is a special, very, very special ball player. I've watched him on, ESPN and watched some of the Reds game, and he's just tremendous. He can do it all.
First pitch swing and skies this one to left center. Votto retired. He walked his first time up, flies out there. What impresses you the most about him?
It's just consistency. It looked like he never gets into slumps. When he's driving the ball the other way, that keeps him on the ball a little bit longer, and he's not pulling off anytime soon.
Danny, do you feel like that you were talking about camaraderie and the way that things worked out so well in the locker room? Do you feel like that was one of the reasons that you guys were so successful when you did step between the lines?
I think so. I think that, everybody in the clubhouse was actually honestly pulling for the next guy. And it made a good feeling for the ball club.
Phillips flies out. Red Strand, a base runner. We're visiting with Danny Dreesen earlier today at the Hall. A very special time. A lot of smiles, a lot of congratulations. We'll continue with the Reds Hall of Famer after these messages. Back at Great American Ballpark, time for our AT&T Trivia Answer. Since 1960, who are the only three Reds to lead the National League in walks on this weekend where we honor Danny Dreesen, Sean Casey, and John Riley? Danny, you got an idea who those guys might be?
I know two of them.
Okay.
Well, I think I know two.
You got it.
You know all of them.
You're one, Joe's another, and Joey Votto. Pretty good numbers, huh?
Yeah.
But that's, you know, that's all part of it. You know, and Sparky always said it about Joe Morgan that, you know, he could open a game with a walk. He could open a game with a steal. He could open a game with a home run. He could find a way to beat you. It doesn't always have to be a homer that does it. Sometimes taking a walk gets you started.
You're right. You know, it's a small thing sometimes that wins ball game. And it's not always the 3-run home run and stuff like that, but it's getting on base and keeping pressure on the pitcher.
Amen.
That's a pitcher, huh?
Amen.
Yeah,
Hey, I'm telling you.
How would you have pitched to Dan Dreesen, Cowboy?
I would have had to pitch him in, because if I didn't, he would cover the whole plate, because I've seen his swing. If I don't come in, he gonna hurt me bad.
Who was the toughest pitcher you faced back in those days?
You know, I would think Tom Seaver. Because not only did he throw hard, but he had command of all his pitches. So you couldn't just sit on one pitch. You had to think about 4 pitches. And if he had to, he could throw the fastball by you as well.
You always tell the great story. I think you only had like 1 or 2 hits off Seaver, and when he came over here, you were the first one to hug him, right?
Yeah, I'm in a lot of his milestones.
Who was there at first base as a no-hitter, huh?
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
You weren't going to give him the ball either, were you? You were going to hold it.
Hold it for ransom. Yeah.
Here, this is one in my back pocket. You got this one.
You could own half his winery now out in California if you'd kept that ball.
I heard that he was doing winery out there.
What a great group of guys, though. Joe, of course, you know, was on that list with you. What made him so special? Whoa, this one hit a ton. Ryan Domit continues what has been heavy hitting against Homer Bailey. Domit was 5 for 13 coming in. He doubled his first time up. He homers this time. And now the Twins have taken the lead 3-2. Got out of here fast, huh?
Oh, man.
Fastball down. It looked like Homer was trying to start it inside and run it back over the inside corner, and it got back over the middle of the plate.
Here's Dozier, lazy fly to center. Joe Morgan. Back to Joe.
When I first came up, I'd never seen anything like it. Joe, if we were down by a run going into the last inning and it could be 2 outs and Joe gets on first base, he's going to steal second, and everybody in the ballpark knew it. And he was going to get himself in the scoring position, and I thought that was just, even when they pitched out, they couldn't contain him. And you know about his power, and he was just a clutch ball player.
Danny, speaking of a clutch ball player, you're always that. Congratulations on your Hall of Fame induction. I know you're going to have a wonderful weekend, and we look forward to seeing you all weekend long. Thanks for stopping by with us, Dan.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you, Danny.
All right.
Game as the Reds Live set for Sunday sunglasses comes your way. 100 people receive free sunglasses courtesy of Fox Sports Ohio and the Ohio Department of Public Safety, reminding you to buckle up. It's a guaranteed home run every trip, every time. Sunglass Sundays right here.
Well, George, we were talking about the stolen base and the propensity to do so with Joe Morgan, and we saw Ben Revere steal third base back in the third inning, and a little halfway pop fly into right field ends up scoring him, and that's the difference in the game right now.
Jay Bruce, first pitch swinging, hoping it goes foul, and squeezed out of the air. For the first out, Bruce is retired. The simple things, the little things, so often are the difference in ball games, and right now it's a 3-2 lead, Minnesota.
Most people will say, well, the home run by Ryan Doumit or the double that drove in Trevor Plouffe by Ryan Doumit, those aren't really the things that made the difference in the game. Those things are going to happen. Guys are going to get hits. You can't really stop that part, but you can stop Ben Revere from getting a walking lead and stealing third base without looking at it.
There's Ryan Ludwig, flied to right first time up. Now you really filled about every role there is on a pitching staff.
Oh,
you were a middle reliever, you were a closer, you were a setup man, you were a starter. I remember when the Giants needed somebody, and it was Jeff Brantley who volunteered. It wasn't told we need a starter. You volunteered.
I just raised my hand. I was the closer on the team at the time, and everybody looked at me like, you're the closer. You can't start. Well, guess who started? Me.
And in each of those roles, you have a different job of holding a runner.
Yes, you do.
There's a way to do it in each of those roles.
It really is. And the thing about holding runners in a starting situation, you don't want to use a slide step every single time, but what you want to do is vary your times to the plate and vary the way that you move on the mound.
Did pretty good to right. Revere going back. It is off the wall. Ludwig around first, going to second. He'll settle for two and put the brakes on there. A double for Ryan Ludwig, his 12th of the season.
Tell you, George, he has really been coming on as of late. Ryan Ludwig, when he's hitting the ball the other way with that kind of authority, he makes himself a very difficult out.
That's Ryan Ludwig.
Safe at second, safe and secure.
New York life. We could go on tour with that.
Yeah, we could. Make a little combo.
Toby Keith.
There you go.
Here's Scott Rowland, bounce back to the pitcher first time up.
This would be almost the equivalent of Ryan Ludwig stealing third as Ben Revere stole third. Same kind of situation. You just can't let it happen.
Second baseman Carroll way over towards the bag to try to keep Ludwig close. He represents the tying run, opens up a big hole for Rowland.
You know, you were talking about different ways to use the slide step or hold runners in the bullpen. You can slide step almost every time with a runner on. You don't have to worry about it as much.
Drilled left field, going back, gonna be gone. Welcome back, Scott Rowland. That's a go-ahead homer.
Well, you asked me about where he held his hands. He held them right on the 2-7. Bingo. Somebody hollered bingo.
Sweet swing.
A high breaking ball, and you can see Rowland quick to the baseball and big finish.
I got them on their feet here at Great American Ballpark. Another over 30,000 crowd in attendance. A 1-0 delivery hammered into left for Rowland's third homer. Now 15 runs batted in on the season. Broken bat. Jerry Lane gets hit by the bat.
Gosh, he's down, George.
It hit him on the looked like the shoulder of the back of the head, and out will come the umpires and Paul Lessard, the Reds trainer, as well.
Knocked his mask off, George. I think it caught him in the side of the head and knocked his mask off as he went straight down.
The bat cracked and the head of the bat wrapped around and hit Jerry Lane in the side of the head. The helmet popped off, and he looks like he's okay.
Yeah, he just lifted up both legs, so I know he's all right. At least he has his faculties about him, but I guarantee you he's in some pain. He's up on his elbows.
Paul Lessard, Steve Bauman out almost moments after he hit the turf to be with him. His umpiring buddies ran in as well.
He's moving around. He's moving his neck. He's wiping his forehead off. I think that put a little dizziness into him, and probably almost like taking a knockout punch. I mean, that's like getting slammed in the side of the head with a baseball bat with a mask on. That mask is only protecting from the front part, not from the side. That's one of the reasons that the catchers started using those hockey masks to protect them from the broken bats that were hitting them in the side of the head. I have never seen that, George. I've never seen a bat come back there and hit the umpire in the side of the head.
It looks like Bob Davidson's probably going to head in and put on his home plate umpiring gear and take over for Jerry. I mean, number one, even if he gets up and says, I'm okay, you don't want to take a chance.
I don't think he's okay. I think he's very dizzy right now.
Appears to be okay. Let's take another look. Watch the bat. Wow, right on the side of the mask. A jolt to the side of the mask and the head. It's like a haymaker punch.
Watch right up in this area right up here as the bat comes through. You can see it coming around the backside and catching him. That's exactly what it was. That bat came all the way back around, and the bat was held together just long enough for the swing to get back there, but yet it broke loose just as Mesoraco got to the point of stopping the bat with his own motion, and the big part of the bat kept traveling backwards in full velocity.
Now the Reds dugout on the right side is equipped with medical rooms and a complete home side medical X-ray facility and whatnot, so they'll take care of him. In the meantime, the umpire dress on the left side. That's why Bob Davidson went that way. You would expect Davidson to be back out with his.
They'll do every type of emergency scan that they can do here at the ballpark, and then I would imagine, because of the blow to the head, that he will go to the hospital and have any type of MRI or any type of CT scan, anything that has to do with the skull, just to make sure that everything is okay from a concussion standpoint.
So there have been a number of medical advances, and I think the last couple of years they've instituted the 7-day disabled list at the major league level for those that have any kind of a head injury to guard against any concussion like symptoms. That's great, but among umpires I think it's tremendous. You see it here tonight. You saw the one foul tip that knocked the mask off Mesoraco's head.
Right.
That happens to umpires 2 or 3 times a night, and the one thing they do now is chronicle every single hit to the head, and it's in their record, so that if you start having headaches a year or 2 later and you say, well, this guy's been hit 6 times or 7 times, something they never did before.
Well, the head athletic trainer for the umpires was my trainer when I was in San Francisco, Mark Laton.
Yep.
He's the one that has put all of this extra work into process, so that not only do the umpires have someone looking out for them on a day-to-day basis, but they have someone to chronicle injuries just like you would if you had your own trainer at your own club. Mark Laton is the club trainer, if you will, for all of the major league umpires. So that will go down into the chronicle of Jerry Davis.
Veteran umpire
Jerry Lane.
Jerry Lane, who has left the game. If you just joined us, a momentary delay in this ball game as Bob Davidson goes on to put on the home plate umpiring gear. And if we hear anything back further on Jerry Lane, we'll pass it on to you. But it appears he left under his own power, appeared to be walking fine. That's the great news.
It also goes to show you, George, how big of a man Jerry Lane is, and that bat caught him straight to the jaw or right around that area, and he went straight down. Dangerous, dangerous with those broken bats.
23-year major league veteran.
I'm telling you, I've never seen a bat whip around in that fashion. I've seen them break, but they usually go towards the dugout, but never coming back around and catching the umpire back in, basically in the back of the head.
I'm not sure if any of the family is here, because Jerry, of course, is from the area. He was born in Kentucky, lives in Florida now, and is a native of Ohio, spent time in Marion, Ohio, where he went to school. So family is around, and very often when he comes here, he has family or friends at the ballpark. But from everything we've seen, he appears to be okay. They're going to give him every test that you might imagine just to make sure. And while the umpiring situation is resolved and Bob Davidson changes, we'll take a momentary timeout here at Great American Ballpark. You're watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio.
This July, don't miss the biggest event of the summer as baseball's greatest stars battle for home field advantage in the Fall Classic. The road to the World Series begins with the 2012 MLB All-Star Game, Tuesday, July 10th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox.
By the way, just announced last night, good news for the Reds. Billy Hamilton and the Bakersfield Club has been announced as one of the participants in the XM All-Star Futures game that will take place also in Kansas City. What a great first half he's had. 331 average, 13 doubles, 82 stolen bases going into tonight.
Billy was the MVP of the All-Star game between the California League, which is the league that Billy plays in, and the league in the Carolina League, which they competed together, all-stars from both leagues. Billy Hamilton was the MVP.
Led off with a walk, stole a base, stole another base, and scored the only run they had.
The only run that the California League scored.
And there's talk about possibly moving him up one rung here in the second half. There's a good possibility of that.
Not be surprised of that at all.
Would you be surprised if the Reds are in the race that he comes up here in September to steal a base?
No, and I've seen that happen.
Yep.
I've seen that happen with Donnell Nixon when I was out in San Francisco. They called him up to the big leagues, and the only reason he was there was to get from first to second to third without being thrown out. And if Billy Hamilton can do that, what a weapon it would bring to the Reds.
Hey, in Boston, they're still celebrating the greatest stolen base in postseason history, Dave Roberts.
You got it. You got it. Hey, you never know. I wonder if he could play left, though.
He can play anywhere. He can play anywhere.
Hey, if you're a shortstop, so they say, you're the best athlete on the field, and you can play any position on the field.
Well,
that's what they say.
You were a shortstop.
That's right. I didn't have any problem with left field.
All right, Bob Davidson will take over. If we get any further word on Jerry Lane, we'll pass it on to you. Homer Bailey to the plate after Devin Mesoraco on that pitch. Broken back ground ball to short, was tossed out at first. So Bob Davidson takes over for his buddy Jerry Lane.
And as with anyone injured and having to leave the game, our prayers and wishes are with Jerry Lane.
Well, it means that Davidson will be behind the plate. There'll be 2 umpires at each of the baselines to start. With runners on, they'll move the base runner umpires around, but it's a 3 umpiring crew right now.
This is how they do it in AAA baseball. You don't have 4 umpires until you get to the big leagues. Just like this.
Swing and a miss, and that'll do it. The Reds do some business, though. Double by Ludwig, homer by Rowland. Reds have a 4-3 lead.
Just felt like hopefully they always thought I wore that uniform to put it on for all the people that came that night. But so many great teammates I played with, and just have so many great memories of raising my family here and my kids being born here in Cincinnati. And it was really a place I grew up in, and this city will always be home to me.
And that's, of course, Sean Casey upon being inducted into the Reds Hall of Fame. And there's a reason he's called the mayor, because he's that popular in Cincinnati. And what a weekend it is. You guys have been talking about it. But tomorrow, on-field ceremonies, the induction ceremonies on the field, a special Reds Live start time, 3 o'clock. From 3 to 3:30, we'll do our normal Reds Live. Then from 3:30 to 4, you will see the on-field ceremonies live in its entirety, uninterrupted, here on Fox Sports Ohio. And, of course, Sunday is the big gala, which is a sold-out affair where everyone gets dressed up, and you might even see a few tears on that night, particularly out of Sean Casey. So Hall of Fame weekend, always huge here in Cincinnati, and none bigger than the guy you already talked to, Dan Dreesen, and Sean Casey, who, George, you will talk to both of them again on Reds Live tomorrow.
Yeah, JD, we've had so many great memories. Your favorite memory of Casey?
Well, he and I shared a a liking of professional wrestling, believe it or not. And he and I went to a couple of events together, and to go with him and to see how he's just like he is off the field as he is on. He's like a little kid who never grows up and is never in a bad mood. And I just have those memories of, I don't know, a wrestling guy. I guess I shouldn't reveal that to the public, but both of us used to dig professional wrestling.
Yeah, we'll be telling Casey stories all weekend long, huh?
Oh, there's no question about it. And I'm still recovering from a separated shoulder. When he greets you on opening day, sees you for the first time in months, he hits you with that, "Hey, brother," hits you with that high five, and about takes your shoulder out of socket. But that's why we love him.
Thanks, JD. Good job. Cowboy, your favorite memory of Case?
All I knew is he could hit the inside pitch, so you stayed soft away. If you went in, it had to be way in off the plate so you could go back away with a split finger. That's how I remember anybody that had a bat. Any of the old players, all I remember about them is their scouting report. Unless, of course, I played with him. And I didn't play with Sean. I had to get him out.
Yep.
Which probably didn't happen.
Bounces off Bailey's glove, but he'll take care of it. And there's two away. Denard Span's retired. And here comes the guy who's been the pain in the neck to the Reds all night. Ben Revere singled, stole a base in the first. In the third, he singled, went to second on when Cozart's throw got by Votto and went into the camera bay. Then stole third and scored on a sacrifice fly by Josh Willingham.
Well, there's a difference in the way we have seen the number 1 and the number 2 hitters for the Minnesota Twins. Denard Span, he jogged for the first 10 to 15 feet as the ball was hit back to Homer Bailey. He gave up, basically. Had he been sprinting right out of the box, even though it was a comebacker to the pitcher, and I understand that, but when I watch guys like Drew Stubbs and some of the other players that have great speed, they run all the way every time. Had he been sprinting out of the box, he may have had himself a hit right there, or at least been on base and an error on Homer.
Doesn't cost anything to run hard, does it?
And Ben Revere, he runs hard.
Down to third, just foul past the bag.
There are some players, when they come to the ballpark, they are looking for one way to beat you. And if they can find that way, then they're going to look for another and another and another. The Reds have a guy in Joey Votto that does that every day. Scott Rowland is one of those guys. Brandon Phillips is one of those guys. They want to find a way to beat you.
Revere was one of those tops all rookie members from a year ago in the American League, and he kind of reminds you a little bit of Jason Kipnis, who we saw in Cleveland, who is always plays it hard, runs hard, gives you the kind of speed that can turn a game around.
All out effort, and it may not mean anything for 4 or 5 games in a row, and then all of a sudden it may win you a ball game.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Revere, who's 2 for 2. And we'll go full 3 and 2.
As you said, George, it doesn't take that much extra to give a full effort. They are writing you a pretty good check every 1st and 15th, as far as I remember.
You never forget that, do you?
No.
3 for 3, a base hit to right. All right, let's see how the Reds and Homer Bailey react to him this time down at first.
Well, they better hold him on, especially with the guy at the plate, because he's hitless on the night, and he's going to be looking for a little payback.
Willingham dribbled one on a check swing out in front of the plate. It was thrown out by Mesoraco, and his sacrifice fly to shallow right allowed Revere to score with the 2nd run. That was in the 3rd inning.
Well, the Reds put 2 runs up on the board early, and Homer gave them the 3 runs back to the Minnesota Twins. You can't give them the lead again. Stay right down there with that slider or up above his hands with a good hard fastball. but nothing up and out over the plate, or you might not see it again. See, this is a spot for Homer Bailey, George, where you don't even have to pick to first. You can just hold the ball. You hold the ball until either the batter steps out of the box or he calls timeout. You take charge of the situation. Nobody can do anything to you throw it. I learned that long ago from Willie McGee when we were playing out in San Francisco. He said, JB, the best weapon against a fast base stealer is just to sit there and hold the ball, because my legs get tired after a while of standing there.
There he goes. Fouled at the plate, and had it not been fouled, he would have stolen that base too.
Yep. And there's nothing wrong with holding the ball for 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, and then delivering the ball to home plate. By that point, his legs have got to be tight, because they've all got them bent and squatted down and all those different positions that the base stealers get into.
That was his A move. That's about as quick as he'll move those feet.
Hey, you don't have to have a very good move to hold runners at bay. All you have to do is vary your times to the plate, vary your times that you hold the ball before you deliver it, because that's all the runner at first base is trying to do. He's trying to take off just before you start to go to home plate.
Not going this time, just missing. Homer, Phillips, and Cozart each had taken 2 steps towards the dugout with that delivery.
Well, this was a curveball. Starts right at that front elbow, and Fox Track says that's strike 3.
Two outs, runner will be going. Check swing. It is a foul ball. Revere's got a little bit of Brandon in him, huh?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. You got to have a little confidence to play this game.
Three-two. Try it again. Revere will be off and running again. That's ball 4. So 2 quick outs on 2 lazy ground balls, and a single and a walk. And here comes Morneau, who struck out and grounded out. JD, do you have more on Jerry Lane?
Yeah, George, the Reds took him underneath the Reds medical personnel, including Dr. Timothy Krimchek. And the good news is they think that he's going to be okay. Dr. Krimchek does not think that he has a concussion. He was hit right on the side of the head, right where his mask ends, if you will. He called his wife and said, hey, honey, I'm okay. They are going to take him to Good Samaritan Hospital just to be sure, to give him some x-rays and an MRI, just to make sure that he does not have a concussion. But right now, the medical personnel do not think he does. They think he's going to be okay.
That's great news. Great news. Here's another look if you joined us late. Devin Mesoraco's bat shatters. The head of the bat comes back and hits Jerry Lane in the temple, the side of his mask, knocks the mask and the hat off, and he ends up flat on his face, and after being administered to, taken to Good Sam Hospital, and so far the news is good. They are checking to see if there might be a fracture to the orbital bone, which is that bone around the eyes, and it's ironic that we talk about that this weekend, because that was the bone that Sean Casey broke when he got hit by the infield throw the start of the season.
Same bone that A.J. Burnett broke at the beginning of this season.
No balls, 2 strikes to Morneau. They'll chase the runner back to second. Not likely with 2 outs, but in a situation like this with Revere and the left-handed batter up, rolling well off the bag at third. So a lot of room there on the left side.
Well, the only problem right here is that with 2 outs, the Twins are playing for the 3-run home run. The runner at second base in Ben Revere really doesn't mean much more at third than he does at second, so why risk it?
From 0-2, we're even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Boy, these are the at-bats that kill your pitch count. After 2 quick outs, the single and the walk, and this one strung out too. Here in the 5th inning, already 85 pitches by Bailey.
You can see the front hip of Justin Morneau just a little bit before the pitch gets there, starting to cheat a little bit down that first baseline. He's opening up that front shoulder and front hip in case he gets one inside to try to jerk.
So second straight full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Back-to-back walks. So 2 out, 2 on. And out will go Mesoraco. He'll be joined by Brian Price to talk this one over.
Well, this is not what we have seen from Homer Bailey in the past. He has gotten in situations like this and continued to make quality pitches and gotten out of the inning. Now he's got himself in a situation worrying about Willingham and worrying about Morneau with the long ball, worrying so much about them and the long ball that he got away from what he was doing best. Now he's out of his rhythm totally, and he's got to find that, and he's got to find it quick, or he's going to find himself either behind in this ball game or even worse yet, out of the ball game.
The numbers are telling, huh, Cowboy?
Very much so. When you get 2 outs, those numbers should be just like they are with no outs. That's when you should really put your foot on their throat and stop it.
So bases loaded after the single by Revere and back-to-back walks to Willingham and Morneau. And here's the 1-for-2 Trevor Plug. In the dirt, ball 1.
See, Bailey is making pitches now to try to make the hitters chase out of the strike zone. You have to make a pitcher's pitch in the strike zone.
Slap foul, 1 ball, 1 strike. There are those numbers we talked about for Trevor. What an unbelievable month he's had, and it's gone a little over that, almost 4 full weeks starting the last week of the month of May. He's been solid. On the stretch is Bailey. Well, now we're at the 90 pitch mark, 27 pitches this inning alone, and that'll get action up in the bullpen. Sam LaCour up and tossing.
You have to remember that when you change umpires behind the plate in the middle of the ball game, the strike zone changes as well.
Bounce behind second. They'll tap the bag. Good job by Cozart. They'll strand 3, stranded 5 through the first 5. The Reds still lead at 4-3. Offer you a great value this season, the Kroger Meal Deal. Check concession stands throughout the ballpark for the Kroger Meal Deal, which includes a hot dog, bag of chips, 16-ounce Coke, and this homestand, a pack of David sunflower seeds. Get the Kroger Meal Deal on your next trip to Great American Ballpark. On this trip to Great American Ballpark, the Minnesota Twins coming for the first time in 11 years. The Twins were here in 2001. They own an 8-7 record against Cincinnati in interleague competition. Reds lead here 5-1. First time the Twins have ever played here at Great American Ballpark. Back to the top of the order, Zach Cozart. He singled in the first, scored on the homer by Heisey. The Reds took an early 2-0 lead, and after the Twins took a 3-2 lead in the fourth, Brian Ludwig doubled to right. Scott Rowland hit a bullet to left for his third homer, and the Reds enjoy that 4-3 lead. Just foul down the third baseline. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, now that for all intents and purposes interleague competition is over, because these 3 games are played here in this ballpark, Dusty's job gets a little tougher once Drew Stubbs comes back. With Scott Rowland back, Todd Frazier no longer able to play third. You've got Heisey, you've got Ludwig, you've got Frazier all trying to get some time in left field.
Well, the one thing that has been beneficial before that happens is the fact that with the injury to Stubbs, it has really allowed Dusty to get some playing time for Heisey, Ludwig, and Frazier, with Rowland and Stubbs out of the lineup. All 3 of those guys had really been playing at bench roles or not playing at all. And all of them have got a tremendous amount of at-bats. Especially, and the thing about it, George, is Frazier and Ludwig and Heisey have come up with some big hits. I mean, this winning streak just didn't come out of evaporation. It happened because there were players that put the bat on the baseball, and those 3 did that. Ludwig's overall average does not show what he has done as of late.
Dribbler down to third. It will roll foul. We'll try it again. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
You've got 9 home runs and 31 RBIs. That'll tell you a little something. Brandon Phillips has swung the bat the bat much better as of late. And I still think it all starts right here in the top of the order, either with Cozart or Heisey, and then with the #1 man, Joey Votto.
Votto due up third this inning, hit pretty good to center field. Cruising over, making the catch is Span, and on the 9th pitch of the at bat, Cozart skies out, 1 away. Back to the first inning after the base hit by Cozart. Here's Heisey, Cowboy.
Fastball, middle away. And the hand strength and core body strength of Heisey. Tell you what, when he makes solid contact, the ball just jumps off this guy's bat. You see a lot of times, George, with Cozart hitting those line drives back up the middle, and they end up in the glove or dead into center field. If he could be just a little later or a little bit of ahead, those balls are catching the gaps. That's why he has so many doubles already.
No balls, 2 strikes. Waves at it, second out of the inning.
Ramazda pitch by pitch with Chris Heisey. First pitch he swings and misses. Next one gets a called strike. He's down early, 0-2. And when you're at the mercy of a pitcher, you got to swing at anything close, and Chris thought that was close enough.
Here's Joey. Walked on a 3-2 pitch first time. This time sends it to left. Edge of the warning track is Willingham at the wall. He'll hold it in. So the Reds 2 long fly balls. Nothing to show for it in the 5th. To the 6th we go. Cincinnati leads 4-3. ATM Food Group, creating great dishes together with the food service industry for over 30 years. By your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. For over 30 Toyota offers available now, visit buyatoyota.com, including mobile. And by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And don't forget, you can get ready for Reds action 30 minutes before every game. Hope you joined us for you So You Think You're a Reds Fan today. It's all sponsored by Ray St. Clair Roofing on Fox Sports Ohio. Every single Reds pregame story is one that will unfold to give you all you need to know. And don't forget tomorrow, a very special Ray St. Clair pregame show. It'll be an hour long starting at 3 o'clock. The ceremonies will start at 3:30 in preparation for the Hall of Fame induction of Sean Casey and Dan Dreesen and John Riley. Hope you join us 3 o'clock tomorrow. And if you're coming to the game's a sellout. Remember, they want you in your seats around 3 o'clock because the ceremonies will begin promptly at 3:30.
Speaking of the Hall of Fame ceremonies, the master of those Hall of Fame ceremonies deserves congratulations today. He is now a married man.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. Congratulations to the Hall of Famer Marty Brennaman.
The Hall of Famer Marty Brennaman, as he has slipped the ring on the finger.
All the best. All the best. Looks very happy. Big smile.
He is happy. Amanda's happy. He's happy. That means everybody else is happy. If Mama's happy, everybody's happy.
Ryan Domit against Homer Bailey tonight. 3 more hits, a single, a double, and a homer. He came in 5 for 13 in his career against them. Add that to Ben Revere, who's 3 for 3. They've been lethal.
Well, Revere I can understand because he's not someone that Homer has really seen. But with Ryan Domit, sooner or later the pitching part of you has to take over, and you've got to figure out a way to get that guy out, or at least make a pitch where he doesn't hurt you. And I say that as Tony Gwynn hit almost 800 off of me.
And you're not the Lone Ranger, though.
Yeah.
You weren't alone in that. I mean, he touched everybody. You know, Joe Luckup and I were talking before the game today. We were talking about the hot streak that Joey Votto's on, and he asked me, do you ever remember, have you ever covered anybody this hot? And I remember, you can mention a couple guys. George Brett in '80 was unbelievable. He threatened to hit 400. And in the strike year, I really believe Tony Gwynn would have hit 400 had there not been a strike.
I agree. I mean, he would have had the opportunity.
0-2, pop foul. His dad passed away that year too, and it was like he was on a mission.
Right.
It was something he wanted to honor his dad with.
And there was one year, I don't recall the exact year, but Todd Helton in Colorado was at 385, 390, really going into the last few days of August, if I remember correctly.
Up the elevator shaft. Who's going to take charge? Votto will. Joey's got it. And don't forget, right now on FoxSportsOhio.com, will Ohio State make Paul Brown Stadium the temporary horseshoe for the spring game in 2013? Big question. And Hal McCoy has an all-star feature on the year where nearly every all-star starter was a Cincinnati Red. It's all on FoxSportsOhio.com. That was 1957, the year to remember when Ford Frick negated the Reds ballot stuffing. Now it's the majority of it's done on computer. You can still vote at the ballpark, but most of the voting this year was via computer.
Seems like everything is via the computer this day and age.
Now, how computer savvy are you?
Much better today.
Oh, you got a new one. Wow, I hadn't seen that one.
Yeah, I gave up the old BlackBerry and bit the dust, and now I'm a new proud owner of the iPhone 4S.
Big. Did you get Ash one too?
No, she is not much on the change, if you know what I mean.
Well, I'm not either. I still got, mine's about 10 years old.
They'll burn down the plant at Blackberry before she changes.
There's the 1-ball delivery to Jamie Carroll. Carroll struck out, popped up 0 for 2.
I like all the new gadgets and all the new stuff. Ashley's much more conservative than I.
Well,
she says my phone works. I can call people. I can get on the internet. Why do I need a new one?
I agree with her 100%.
So I used her upgrade.
She'll never know.
Oh, she knows. She knows now because she's listening. Or watching, I should say. Sorry, babe.
It's all right, Ash. You'll get it back.
Yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike. Carroll digs in, facing Bailey. Short lead for Domit down at first. That's going to sneak through on the right side. Domit will take a turn, but hold at second. So 2 base hits, and that may rattle him around in the bullpen again.
Well, that is almost as though Jamie Carroll came to the plate and said, I'm going to hit the ball between Votto and Phillips. And he got a pitch just enough out over the plate to be able to thumb it that way. And Joe Mauer is going to step to the plate. Supposed to be away, and it ends up just spinning up there, a hanging breaking ball. And for a guy like Jamie Carroll that doesn't handle the fastball well anyway, you just did him a favor by taking some velocity off the pitch.
So Carroll's on first. He represents the go-ahead run. Domit's on second. He represents the tying run. Bill Bray, just activated today, starts to loosen. And in to pinch hit is Joe Mauer. Mauer did not start again today, suffering from a deep thigh bruise on a collision with Ricky Weeks. He may be in the lineup as early as tomorrow. There he is at 314, 3 homers on the season. And you know he's got big time power as he takes over for Blackburn. So Blackburn's night is done. 5 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks. That's a strike.
The one thing that you do have this day and age is you can see video of your opponents before you ever face them, so you can read their swings a little bit. It's the one thing that we did not have back in the day when I was playing. You got the scouting report, but you didn't get to see the video of that particular player. And it does give you a little bit more advantage than what you had in the past by being able to see the swing of a certain player against a certain pitch, especially if there is a pitcher out there that has a fastball delivery similar to yours or a breaking ball similar to yours. You get at least a better idea facing someone that you've never faced before, as you see Bailey facing Joe Mauer.
2 balls, 1 strike to Mauer with 1 away. Interesting too, because Ron Gardenhire comes from the Tom Kelly school, where you don't know when or where the biggest at bat of a game will come. He uses Mauer now. I mean, you know, you got lefty Chapman out there later. You know, you had Bill Bray, and Bray was not up until right now. So Gardenhire opts to use him against the right-hander now. This is your big bullet. Mauer's the best bullet he's got on the bench right now.
He's looking for the 3-run homer right here, right now.
Yep. Tries to sneak it in under the arms, can't do it, and that's ball 4. So Mauer takes a walk. He already passed the 500 career walk mark, one of only 7 Twins with that in his record. So Dusty's going to wait and see. He's got Bray loosening in the bullpen, the only lefter, and with the thigh problem that Mauer has, they will pinch run for him. So looking down in the bullpen, Liam Hendricks will pinch run. In the Reds bullpen, Bray is the only one loosing, and here comes Dusty. So he gave Bailey the chance to get out of the inning and get Mauer. He ends up walking him, and now Dusty will take a little more time to give him a little more time to loosen. And here comes Bill Bray. Well, while the pitching change takes place, we'll take time out for these messages. You're watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio. Time for our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. With the official Reds baseball and softball camps presented by Safeco Insurance, all campers receive their own Reds uniform, special instruction from a Reds coach, on-field VIP experience at Great American Ballpark, plus a guest appearance by a current Red star. For information on the official Reds camps, visit reds.com/camps today. Good to see the lefty back, Cowboy.
Bill Bray will be coming on. This was only his 6th ball game of the year. He has been on the disabled list since all the way back in early April.
Nice stop by Mesoraco to prevent a wild pitch and a run from scoring.
And really what you hope right here is that the rehab that Bray has been under has at least gotten him to a point where he can be competitive without having to go the adrenaline just going crazy with it.
It's almost like another opening day for Bill Bray. That's down and away for a ball, and it's 2-0 to Denard Span, who's 0 for 3. Bounce to short, bounce to first, bounce back to the pitcher.
Now you don't want this inning to get away from you, especially with a 1-run lead. Dusty brought him into the ball game hoping for a strikeout here.
He's got 2 lefties, Span and Revere. Bases loaded and 1 out. That's wide, and it's 3-0. Nipping away at that outside corner, down and away, and he misses 3 times. Well, the Reds the last couple of years have had both Bill Bray and Nick Massett as instrumental key components of their bullpen, and they hope to have them back again. That would give the Reds a complete bullpen. Here's a 3-0. There's a strike. And you mentioned earlier that for Bill Bray, he felt that he wasn't helping his team. Nick Massett feels the same way. As Homer Bailey can just take a deep breath right now. He exits still with a 4-3 lead, but that lead in jeopardy. That's the Bill Bray you're used to seeing. Nice spot.
Well, let's hope that he doesn't try to get tricky here. Just come right back with the same pitch and make him swing the bat.
Gray activated before the game today. J.J. Hoover sent back down to Louisville in a corresponding move.
No speedster in Ryan Doman over there at third base.
3-2, middle of the infield double play depth. That's ball 4. Will force in a run.
Threw him a breaking ball on 3-2. Wow.
Tying run walks home. So no longer can Bailey be a winner. That run charged to Bailey. And we're back in the tie ball game 4-4. And now with Revere coming up, you would figure if the inning does not end here, this will be Bray's last batter. 2 lefties back to back, and then Willingham.
Denard Span did not take the bat off of his shoulder. That's why you have to throw him a fastball there. 3-2. It's different if he had fouled off a pitch earlier, but since he's sitting there taking, you got to get something.
Right field. There is Bruce. Got it. The runner tagging at third. This throw will go to second. Sacrifice fly, and the Twins will take the lead 5-4. So what a night for Revere. Single, 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 sacrifice fly. And here comes Dusty. So Bray walks a batter and allows a sacrifice fly. And the pitching change will take place. Logan Andrusik is on his way in. While the pitching change takes place, he'll take time out for these messages. Interleague play returns as the Yankees head to Queens to take on the Mets in a showdown between crosstown rivals. Baseball Night at America telecast presented by Budweiser begins Saturday at 7 o'clock Eastern on Fox. Here's the long drink of water from Texas.
Logan Andrusik. Andrusik has been out many a time. Matter of fact, 32nd appearance for Andrusik here this year. A 3.04 earned run average, and it was not long ago that his ERA was down around the 1.8 mark. But he has had a difficult time commanding the strike zone. 13 walks in 26 2/3 innings.
So Andrusik facing Willingham for the first time. Willingham today dribbled one in front of the plate, tossed out by Bezaraco. Sacrifice fly tied the game in the third, and he walked in the fifth. Four walks allowed by the Reds tonight. 3 of them by Homer Bailey, 1 by the reliever Bill Bray.
And that's one thing, George, that the Reds have really not done that. The pitching staff has really been on cue from the beginning of the season. And I realize you're starting to get towards the tougher days of the summer. You're already past the third way into the season, third way mark into the season. But you hadn't even gotten halfway yet.
And if you joined us late, Bob Davidson has taken over behind home plate, and you don't know if that might be part of the factor too. New umpire, different view, new strike zone. We have gotten a report that Jerry Lane, who left the game after being hit by a broken bat in the side of his head, right in the temple, and knocked to the ground, been taken to Good Samaritan Hospital. The indications are he did not suffer a concussion, but they're taking tests just to be sure. We wish him the best, send him our prayers and best wishes. We do understand he has called his family and let them know that he's okay, but the umpiring crew working with only 3 right now as Bob Davidson left the bases and put on his home plate umpiring gear and is behind the plate.
Right now, this is a big out for the Reds. It's been a seesaw battle from the get-go.
It's been a 3-2 inning, another full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes to Willingham. Wide to third, rolling, straightens up, will go to first, got it. Good thing he did because the runner had already made it to second. Bailey's lost the lead. It's 5-4 Twins. Time for our Meyer Text Bowl for tonight. We thought we'd have a little fun tonight with this being Hall of Fame weekend, Cowboy. Which recent former Red would you like to see inducted into the Reds Hall of Fame in 2014? We've decided to start from 1990, the last World Series. Paul O'Neill was a part of that 90 team. Ken Griffey Jr., Aaron Boone, very popular, all 3 of them, and 2 very popular pitchers, the Cowboy and Danny Graves. Text either 1, 2, 3, or 4 or 5 to 37664. Normal messaging rates apply. We'll show the results later in the broadcast. Jesse, take that new phone and start texting in it, will you?
There you go. Jeff Gray is the new pitcher for the Minnesota Twins. He comes on 3-0 on the year as he faces Brandon Phillips. 29th appearance, a 4.45 earned run average.
Been around Oakland, Chicago, Seattle. Now 30 years of age. Solid performer, picked up off waivers from Seattle at the end of last year. Nick Blackburn went 5 innings, allowed 5 hits and 4 runs, struck out 2, walked 2. So even though he left trailing, he now is the pitcher of record on the winning side. 5-4. Here's Brandon. Phillips bounced into a double play and flied out. The Reds 4 runs, 5 hits and an error. If you joined us late, Zach Cozart in the first singled to short. Heisey homered, 2-0 Reds. After the Twins came back to take a 3-2 lead. In the 4th inning, Ryan Ludwig with 1 out doubled, and Scott Rowland ripped his 3rd homer of the year to make it 4-3 Cincinnati.
And Nick Blackburn came into this ball game 3-4 with a 7.48 earned run average.
And certainly you would not qualify 5 innings of 4-run baseball as a quality start when he leaves with a lead.
No.
Line drive right field. That's a base hit. When Phillips shortens that swing and goes to right, he's a different hitter.
He really is.
So leadoff hitter on. Here comes Bruce.
When he shortens it to go that way, he is a very, very tough out, regardless of the pitch that you throw. Even if it's inside, and this pitch is a breaking ball that's up and away, and he just tomahawks it right through the hole.
There's Bruce. Walked in the 1st inning and then popped up to 3rd in the 4th. Ryan Ludwig on deck. Off the end of the bat. That'll find its way into the seats and out of play. Hey, Reds fans, if you're in the restaurant industry, let JTM Food Group help you with great tasting, healthier products for your menu. That's JTM.
Well, the Reds will have to once again try to find a way to win a ball game. That they have scored enough runs thus far to win that game, but have given up more than they normally have in just about any time. Reds are just now starting to come around swinging the bats with some authority, and pitching has kind of fallen away from them a little bit.
We'll wait longer. Gray hold with Phillips inching off first, and finally Ludwig steps out. Bruce rather steps out. Perfect example of what you were talking about early in holding runners. He just waited until Phillips made his first move.
You just come to the set and make up your mind that you're just going to sit there until somebody else makes the move. Can't play while you've got the ball.
Left field down the line. Willingham over towards the corner. He has room. Phillips had gone past the second base bag, retreats, and will get back to first.
That was what I was talking about earlier, George, about Jay more and more trying to drive the ball that way and being successful in doing so. Sooner or later, those balls are going to end up in the seats versus right at the warning track. A fastball that normally you'll see Jay pull that pitch. He stays right with it, shoulders and eyes out over the plate as he gets to it, and just comes up short. That replay of Jay Bruce's swing performance provided by Performance Honda.
Beep, beep.
That was a tongue twister.
Here's Ryan. So 2 away, or 1 away rather, with Ludwig at the plate, who flied out and doubled. Short lead for Phillips. That's inside. Gray still brings it 91, 92 miles an hour. Had a roller coaster last year. Started the year with the White Sox, on to Seattle, and then picked up by the Twins at the end of the season. Now, talking to the coaching staff before the game of the Twins today, Cowboy, we remember those days of going to the Metrodome when the Twins were riding high, and you know, Ron Gardenhire's been there a long time. Rick Stelmazic's been there a long time. They've been there from the rebuilding to the dismantling to the rebuilding again. And when they've had pitching, I mean, they've always had a little offense. When they've had pitching, they've been contenders, and they were dominant in the Central Division when they had.
For so long.
Yeah.
The only team that could beat them was the Yankees, and they ended up having to play them in the playoffs every year. First round.
2-0 misses inside, 3 balls, no strikes.
But right now, this Minnesota Twins staff has not thrown the ball well at all. And that's got to be frustrating on Gardenhire, especially when he's got Joe Mauer on the bench and can't seem to get him in the lineup.
It's ball 4. So the Reds put the tying run out at second, the go-ahead run down at first. And here comes Scott Rowland, who homered earlier. Let's go back to the 4th, a double by Ludwig, and then Zippo.
Nothing like a little hanging breaking ball for some hammer time. Pitching coach Rick Anderson out to the mound. Boy, he's face up with his pitcher. Sometimes you got to get your point across. Get the ball over the plate, get it down, and let's get an out.
Again, you don't know all the signs, but it appeared that he was spending a lot of time worrying about Brandon Phillips, somewhat what we experienced in Cleveland this past week with Aroldis Chapman throwing repeatedly over to first. And when we found out afterwards, only once from the bench did they call a throwover. The other 6 throwovers were by Aroldis.
Well, we've talked time and time about the hands of Rowland, and normally when he was healthy, he held his hands very high, almost you could see them above the helmet. Well, you see where they are now, just even with the top of the shoulder, or maybe a little bit below, and you can see where the hands are there, and he'll move them down this way a little bit as time comes along. But the big key for Rowland is to have that freedom of movement with that left shoulder and still be able to drive the ball.
That's a strike 1 and 2. In addition to the homer, Scott bounced back to the pitcher, so he's 1 for 2. Devin Mesoraco on deck.
You could almost see the emergency swing there, the back-to-back fastballs on the inside corner. And Rowland really wants the ball out over the plate. That's going to help him extend and really use the leverage of the bat and his hips to drive the ball, as we saw him earlier. That pitch there doesn't help him do that. That's the one he has to fight off.
Phillips single, Ludwig walk. They're on base. Rifle center field. It will drop for a hit. The runners will advance 1 base. Phillips had to wait to see. With Denard Span's speed, he had a chance to make the catch. So Phillips had to wait. By the time he did, he had no chance to score. So they're loaded now with 1 out. Another hard hit ball by Rowland.
This is a textbook swing by Scott Rowland after fouling off the pitch inside. He gets the ball out over the plate, and that's exactly what we were talking about earlier. That's what he is fighting to get to. The pitch that's away from him in that sweet spot where he can drop those hands and get his hips working at the same time with his hands and really put some bat speed on the baseball.
Here comes Ron Gardenhire. There'll be a pitching change, and while the pitching change takes place, they'll take time out for these messages. You're watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio.
ball game. And I'm going to tell you that you can just throw out the ball game on the 18th of this month at Cleveland, where he gave up a couple of runs and 3 hits, because that ball game, you couldn't throw a strike that was going to be called. I don't know what was going on behind the plate that day, but if you didn't swing or you didn't hit it, it was a ball. So we got a new Sam LeCure on the mound right now.
Here's Justin Morneau, struck out, grounded out, and walked. Off the mound, picked up by Cozart, and with the overshift, they'll throw him out.
Well, that's amazing that Cozart had to move directly behind the bag and basically catch the ball with a normal routine catch instead of backhanding it, because of the way his momentum was taking him towards the infield. That was not an easy play at all. He made it look easy because he's silky.
Silky smooth.
Silky smooth.
The damage for the Twins today. The number 2 hitter, Ben Revere. Single, stolen base in the first. Single, went to second on an error, stole third in the third, scored on a sacrifice fly. Single in the fifth, and a sacrifice fly in the sixth. So 3 for 3 in a sacrifice fly for Ben Revere. Ryan Domit, who came in 5 for 13 in his career against Homer Bailey, a double, a homer that gave the Twins the lead 3-2, and then a single in the sixth. That's a strike, 2-1.
But you still go back to that stolen base in the third inning of Ben Revere, when he stole third base and then was brought in on a fly ball that was probably a good 15 feet behind Votto, that Bruce had to dive and catch.
Yep.
Otherwise, he doesn't score. He's standing at second and ends the inning there at second base.
Speed is a wonderful thing,
but it can be controlled if you actually watch it.
Yep. In the corner, that's a call, strike 3. Second out of the inning, first strikeout for Sam LeCure.
Watch this ball come back across the plate. It starts outside and comes right back to the outside corner. You see Fox tracks there. If it touches the line, it's a strike. And as far as I could tell, it was touching the line.
Spoken concisely from the current representative of the Pitchers Union, sitting to my right.
Got that right.
Well, here's Ryan. Domit's 3 for 3. The double, the homer, and the single. Wherever he's been, he would hit. He came up with the Pirates. They were going to pencil him in as a catcher. And when he had, just as you mentioned, the growth of a catcher, especially a young catcher with the pitching staff there were some difficulties. So when Jim Tracy was there, they said, we got to get his bat in the lineup somewhere. They put him at first, put him in right field. And now he'll get many of his at-bats in those two positions. With Mauer out now with the thigh injury, he's been catching more. Off the glove. Can anybody get there? Votto can't, and it'll be an infield hit for Domit. He's 4 for 4. 2 singles, a double, and a homer.
The one thing about Ryan Domit, anything hard, whether it's slider, fastball, split finger, whatever it may be, anything hard he handles well. The changeup, the slow curveball, the split finger that has a lot taken off of it, he doesn't handle it at all. And everything that he has hit tonight has been hard.
There's a shortstop, Dozier. Rounded out, knocked in a run, fly to center, and popped to first. It's game 1 of the 3-game set. Tomorrow, Johnny Cueto will go for his 9th win. And then on Sunday, the Reds have changed the rotation. Mike Leake will go against Scott Diamond. Tomorrow's game, a 4:10 game. We're on the air with Reds Live pregame at 3 o'clock. Sunday, Reds Live at 12:30. Then Milwaukee comes to town. Been a while since the Reds have played the Brew Crew, but back to some Central Division play. Matt Latos against Giovanni Gallardo on Monday. Bronson Arroyo against Marco Estrada on Tuesday. And Homer Bailey against Zach Greinke scheduled for Wednesday. The Monday, Tuesday games, night games, Wednesday at 12:35 game.
And I'll be honest with you, George, I think coming into this series, regardless of what happened in Cleveland, I think coming into this series against the Minnesota Twins, I think there were high expectations from the players, the fans, the management, that they could go out and put together 3 solid ball games against the Twins with real hopes of coming out of here with a sweep.
And realistically, I mean, Cabo, you've been there before on both ends of it, either being in San Francisco and when people came to visit or going to the road. That 11-game and 11-day road trip to the West Coast, an old-fashioned West Coast trip that you need a little pad before you go out there.
The Reds really need to have a heck of a homestand here before they head out for those ball games: San Francisco, Los Angeles, and San Diego.
Loop to right. There's Bruce. He's got it. Another runner left stranded. Reds going to work. Bottom of 7, top of the order. Can they get some runs for Sam LeCure? Tonight's Ohio Lottery Mega Millions jackpot worth $55 million. Drawing is at 11 o'clock tonight. Hope you have a winner tonight in the Ohio Lottery. And as we show you the results from the Meyer text poll, here's your chance to win a Fox Sports Ohio Meyer prize pack. Text Meyer to 37664 to be entered. Good luck. Talk results. Let's see. How about that? Paul O'Neill 24%, Ken Griffey Jr. 36%, Aaron Boone 9%, the Cowboy 24%, Danny Graves 7%. Those who we think should make it into the Reds Hall of Fame in the post 1990 World Series era.
The post.
Cozart first pitch swinging, bounces down to third. He's retired, and there's one away.
How can anybody beat Ken Griffey Jr.? That should be a lock.
Everybody on that list, in my mind, should be in the Reds Hall of Fame. You know, I mean, when you talk about contributions on and off the field, that's why And we're so happy, of course, this year because not only this weekend we celebrate Barry Larkin, and here's Heisey. Heisey homered in the first after Cozart's single gave the Reds a 2-0 lead. He doubled in the third, then struck out in the fifth. And we honor Sean Casey and Dan Dreesen and John Riley, who get into the Reds Hall of Fame this weekend. This looks like a fairly easy start to the inning. Man. 2 away on only 3 pitches. We're in Cincinnati, USA is JD, Jim Day. Stay tuned to Fox Sports Ohio. Follow the Reds live host as he visits Cincinnati's USA attractions and events. And here comes Joey. Tonight, Votto walked. Hit one sky high to left center field. And then hit one to the wall and left. So 0 for 2. Reds trail by 1, 5-4. Missing inside. Seventh inning, Votto trying to dial it up a notch against Burnett.
Doesn't it amaze you? 3 pitches, you get Cozart and Heisey, and Votto steps up there, and the ball's not anywhere near the strike zone.
Amazes me the intensity of number 19.
Oh, I love that part. I'd like to take a little bit off of him and pass it around.
Yep.
Because he's got enough to pass around.
2 balls, 1 strike. Two with 2 away in the 7th. Grass cutter down to second. Boy, what an easy inning here. 3 ground ball outs. Reds go quietly in the 7th. 1, 2, 3. Great value this season. The Kroger Meal Deal. Check concession stands throughout the ballpark for the Kroger Meal Deal, which includes a hot dog, bag of chips, 16-ounce Coke, and this homestand, a pack of David sunflower seeds. Get the Kroger Meal Deal on your next trip to Great American Ballpark. Sam LeCure, who allowed a base hit, got out of trouble in the 7th inning, goes to work here in the 8th. 5 runs, 9 hits for the Minnesota Twins. If you joined us late, Reds led 2-0 on a 2-run homer from Heisey. The Twins came back, tied it on a ground out RBI from Brian Dozier, sacrifice fly from Josh Willingham. then took the lead on a homer by Ryan Dohm at 3-2. Reds took the lead back 4-3 on a 2-run homer from Scott Rowland. That came in the Reds' 4th inning. Then in the 6th, Homer Bailey's last inning. 2 base hits, 2 walks, sacrifice fly and a ground out, and the lead belongs to Minnesota 5-4. Homer 5 2/3, 8 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned. There's Jamie Carroll, struck out, fly it out, and single.
Well, you could really see him trying to push that ball the other way. He is an up the middle, shoot it to the right side kind of guy. Unless, of course, it's an off-speed pitch, and then he's going to pull it.
Now 38 years of age. Jamie's been around in Montreal, then went with the franchise to Washington, Colorado, Cleveland, and the Dodgers. Solid utility player, and when called upon will start for a period of time too.
He's always been able to fill that spot that he's in now, a number 2 hole type of hitter, middle infielder, normally at second base. And that's that comeback fastball again for Sam LeCure. This is LeCure's money pitch. See how far outside that ball starts, and it comes right back to the corner. And again, what I say, when it touches a line, hee-haw.
Hee-haw?
Hee-haw. I mean, get out of here.
Well, the pitcher spot due up. Here's Darren Mastriani, who will pinch hit. For the Twins, Nick Blackburn went 5 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs. Jeff Gray went a third of an inning, and Burnett, his book closed, an inning and 2/3, no hits, 1 strikeout. Way out in front, Mastriani for a strike.
Sam threw the slow curveball up there on the first pitch, then tightened it up there. Mastriani swings right over the top of it. He may go with that comeback fastball, or he may go with the old high heater here.
Mastriani, originally drafted by Toronto, made it to the major leagues with Toronto last year. Out of New York, big strike 3, and there's out number 2. Now you're so right, Cowboy, when you refer to Cleveland. All these pitches were clearly balls in Cleveland.
Yeah, the thing for Sam LeCure is he has to have that comeback pitch, and when he started the ball inside, they immediately gave up on it and never gave him an opportunity to see the ball come back to the plate.
Back to the top of the order, Denard Span. His walk with the bases loaded in the 6th forced in the tying run at 4-4, and he was followed by a sacrifice fly by Ben Revere that gave the Twins the 5-4 lead.
Of course, then again, I saw a couple of strikes on Joey Votto that looked like they had dirt on the bottom of them after the ball was picked up. Not sure if they bounced and came up to the knees or what. Maybe it was some funky camera work.
2 strikeouts looking, and an 0-2 count to Span for Sam LeCure. Loop towards center, but there is Cozart. He'll haul it in. Good inning for Sam LeCure. Maybe that'll get the Reds rolling. Going to the bat rack, Brandon Phillips, followed by Jay Bruce. Brought to you by Miller Lite. For the Reds, let's go back to the first inning. A base hit by Cozart. This swing from Chris Heisey, 393-foot home run, gave the Reds an early 2-0 lead. Home run number 2 for Heisey on the season. Reds led 2-0, trailed 3-2, led 4-3, and now trail 5-4. And this group of Reds, starting with Brandon Phillips, Jay Bruce, and Ryan Ludwig, will face a former Red, Jared Burton.
Jared Burton comes on. He is 1-0 on the year, a 3.21 earned run average. This will be his 30th appearance. In his 28 innings, he's given up 22 hits, struck out 29, and listen to this. He has walked 3 batters. That was his Achilles heel when he had a Cincinnati Reds uniform on. He has walked only 3 batters. That's awfully good.
He was durable with the Reds, pitching over 50 games 3 different times. Had some arm troubles the last couple of years. A hard-throwing right-hander. Delivers this one at 93 miles an hour. Ball 1 to Brandon Phillips, native of South Carolina. Big burly guy. When you first saw him over here, Cowboy, you had a feeling that if he stayed healthy and controlled that walk situation, he might have closer stuff at some time.
Yeah, I have always thought that this kid had the physical ability to get it done. But it just did not seem like he could find that secondary pitch to get over the plate when he needed it to. He's always had a phenomenal fastball. There is no doubt about that.
One ball, 2 strikes to Brandon, who bounced into a double play, fly to center, and single to right.
And whatever that last pitch was, the bottom fell out of it. Either a split finger or a 2-seamer that he really got on top of. But that ball went straight down. Same pitch there. Looks like a split finger.
Yeah, it's, you know, there was a time when he and Scott Williamson was the same way. They'd throw either a slider or a split finger, and both of them would dive. You really weren't sure which was which.
It looks like when he gets into his glove, he's got those fingers spread just a little bit, not a ton. He's not that deep in it. It's just enough. Four-seam fastball there. But when he was with the Reds, he cut everything. Almost tried to be a carbon copy of Mariano Rivera, but he couldn't control the pitch.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Bounced over the bag. Phillips hustling. There's the flip. They'll get him by a step. Dozier's look smooth out there tonight.
Very much so. Smooth with the gloves, smooth with the feet. And a great exchange from the ball into the glove, into the throwing hand, and on to first base. You like those middle infielders that feel real comfortable getting that ball out in a hurry.
Here's Bruce. Walked on a 3-2 pitch. Popped to third and hit one to the warning track and left. This one right at the center fielder span, and there's 2 away. It looks like Bruce is seeing the ball well tonight. He's just missing it. And 2 balls he hit to left, he looked like he was right on. And here's Ludwig.
Well, both lefties, Marshall and Chapman, throwing in the Reds' pen. We will not see Chapman unless the Reds put some runs on the board.
Here's Ludwig trying to do exactly that. A fly ball out, a double, and then he scored on the homer by Rolen, and then a walk. You look at the overall numbers, 229, but then you look at the moments that he's had, Cowboy. 9 home runs, 31 knocked in, even though that low average, and he's come up with some clutch hits. Reds could use one right now.
Over the last month and a half, really almost month and 3/4, he has been right around that 260, 270 mark, somewhere in between there. And you're exactly right, George. He has come up with some very big hits. One of the biggest was in New York against the Yankees.
Heading to count 2-1.
That's that split finger again right there.
He's got big long arms and big hands and long fingers. Ideal to throw that pitch.
It really is. And one of the pitches that he threw when he was here was a changeup, and he would turn it over. It almost appears that he's using that split finger grip and just turning it over.
Slice to the right side, heading to the seats, but there to squeeze it will be Morneau. So the Reds go 1-2-3 in the 8th. They've gone quietly in the 7th and the 8th. They still trail by 1, 5-4. against Homer Bailey. For Domit, on the night he has 4 hits, a double, a homer, and a single off Bailey. He was 3 for 3. So Ryan's numbers against Bailey for his career now 8 for 16. Ryan Domit has delivered big time tonight for the Minnesota Twins, the former Pittsburgh Pirate performer who, when he played for Pittsburgh, burned Bailey a couple of times there, and he's done it again here tonight. 4 for 4, a solo homer, a double for Ryan Domit, our Nissan drive of the game.
As we said, you throw it hard, he hits it hard, right-handed or left-handed. Speaking of left-hander, the new pitcher for the Reds will be the left-hander Sean Marshall. Marshall 1-3 on the year with a 2.93 earned run average. This will be his 33rd appearance, which leads the Reds. And for Marshall, in his last 16 appearances, he's only given up 1 earned run.
Roland tied at third with the speedy Ben Revere to lead it off. Revere's had a heck of a night too. 3 hits and a sacrifice fly, 2 stolen bases, and he scored a run as well, followed by Willingham and Morneau. The pesky number 2 hitter in this Twins lineup. Roland knocks it down, and he'll hold him to 1. I mean, he didn't make the play, but if it gets by him cleanly, that's clearly a double.
And maybe more. You've got to play in on the grass to respect the bunt. That cuts down your reaction time. And even though Roland was able to make the dive and get the glove on the ball, your reaction time is such that you're diving for a ball that is almost by you.
So Domit 4 hits and Revere 4 hits tonight as well. Here's Willingham. Sacrifice fly in the 3rd, tied the game at 2. Grounded out twice and a walk on the evening. Pirates have already won their game, beating Detroit. Reds started the day with a 2-game lead over Clint Hurdle's ball club. Burnett the winner there. Talk about a bounce back year. How about his? No balls, 1 strike. Oh, 2. As of the moment, the 4-1 victory for the Pirates over Detroit. Cardinals big winners over Kansas City 11-3. 4 games back right now. To join us tomorrow. Reminder, Reds Live pregame starts at 3 o'clock with the Reds Hall of Fame induction on-field ceremonies at 3:30, and the game will follow at 4. In the air, left center. Back is Heisey. Warning track. He'll have room. Runner tagging. Here comes the throw, and Revere will get there. Smart base running by Revere as the ball all the way to the warning track. He easily advances to second, so he's in scoring position with 1 away. Follow Fox Sports Ohio's coverage of the Reds with the MLB.com @Bat 12 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, and your Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text @Bat to 31826 or visit Reds.com for details. He can motor, can he?
Yes, he can. Not only does he have speed, but he has that aggressive streak inside of it. And that's what makes him able to get to the places he needs to go. It's not just enough to have speed. You've got to have a little bit of gambler in you, and you've got to have that aggressiveness to go with it.
Oh, the Reds will overshift on Morneau. With one out, don't rule out another stolen base attempt here. With two out, no, but with one, Bozart trying to keep him close at second.
And you can bet he's thinking to himself, can I beat Rolen to the bag?
That will get the runner to third. Two away, though, on the ground ball out by Morneau. Justin, a walk on the night in 0 for 4. Great to have you with us up in the booth, George Grand and the Cowboy Jeff Brantley. Jesse Jackson up here with us. Joel Luckup keeping up to date on stats for us. Josh Hall down in the truck, our producer. Roy Alfers, our director. Lauren White dialing up some graphics for you. Ziggy, Matt Sigafus, some highlights for you on the night. Anthony DeMarco, our TD. Jim Crow, of course, doing audio tonight as always. Jimmy and Jim Strickler withering away to nothing, both of them. They're getting in good shape, Strick. And John Browdy handling the Fox box tonight, too.
Fox box.
Trevor on the night 1 for 4, singled back in the second, and later scored on a ground out, grounded to second, bounced out and struck out.
The Reds definitely do not want to see Revere put another run across the plate. No insurance runs this late in the game.
Last roundup time for the Reds. Roland due to lead it off. 7, 8, and 9 scheduled up for Cincinnati. Got him.
Good job.
Sean Marshall gets out of the top of 9. Can we roll on with Scott Rolen in the bottom of 9? Dog or John Morrell hot dog play of the game. It was a go-ahead swing from Scott Rolen. His third homer came in the 4th after a double by Ludwig gave the Reds a 4-3 lead. Our John Morrell hot dog play of the game. Could use a double dip on that one, Cowboy.
Oh, baby. Well, the new pitcher for the Twins is not their normal closer, Matt Capps, but it will be Glenn Perkins. Perkins comes on with a 1-1 record, 32nd appearance, a 3.03 earned run average, 38 strikeouts in 29 2/3 innings.
Twins hope to get Caps back and healthy, possibly by the end of the weekend. Swing and a miss. Some giddy up on that one at 95 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike. Rolling, bounced back to the pitcher first time up, hit that homer in the 4th, and then single to center in the 6th.
Perkins is just rearing back and letting her fly.
5 runs, 10 hits for the Twins, 4 runs, 7 hits for the Reds. Nubbed into center with the outfield playing deep. That'll drop for a hit. Well, Rolen got 2 hits in his return to the lineup on Monday, and here he's bettered that with 3 hits on this Friday night encounter. He represents the tying run down at first, and with Mesoraco due up, Dusty Baker will go to the bench.
I would imagine this may be a bunt.
Reds' best bunter, Wilson Valdez, coming out. He had 2 choices. Hope for a long ball from Mesoraco, but you run into the possibility of a possible double play ball.
Well, if you bunt here and you put a runner at second base, it puts a lot of pressure on the defense of the Minnesota Twins, and it makes them more apt to make a mistake.
Best bunter the Reds have, dribbles this one down. It's a good one. They'll go to first, get the out, and the tying runs down at second. He's money in the bank, isn't he? A sacrifice from Valdez.
Comes with a fastball, puts the bunt down just towards the first baseline where the pitcher has to come get it. And if not for that rocket for a left arm on Glenn Perkins, he may not have gotten it.
The only question now is, do you run for Rolen out at second base? The Reds have depleted their bench as it is. And here's Ryan Hannigan, the backup catcher, who will hit in the 9th spot, the pitcher spot. Off second, the second baseman, Carroll, trying to keep him as close as he can.
Well, I would say that if you were playing for the win right here, you would run for Rolen. But it appears that the Reds are playing just to try to extend this ball game and tie it up right here. So you leave Rolen in case you need his bat in another inning if you play on.
Down and in to Hannigan. Hannigan on the season, .250 with runners in scoring position. Evens account at a ball and a strike. Carroll is way over towards second, so Hannigan has a big hole on the right side, and he's very adept at going that way.
And that's exactly what Hannigan wants.
Drill, but fouled on the third base line. 1-2. Talked about players that have turned it around in the last month. Put Hannigan on that list too. He's hit over 300 in the last month.
Amen.
Helmet rolls through his signs. Perkins to the stretch. Hanging in there is Hannigan. Perkins had a couple of saves last year, picked up his first save this year. his past week as a Twin. Filling in for Caps in the 9th, and the Reds trying to get to him and prolong this encounter. 1-2. Center field, sinking, base hit. Here comes rolling around third. Here, they'll hold him. They're going to hold him. The throw is high and up the line. And Roland retreats.
Good job by Mark Berry. Roland would not have been safe had he come around third base. Span in center field got a great jump on that ball. And the ball was hit directly to him, so he didn't have to change his direction much at all.
Span has an average, just a little above average arm in center. And the general rule, if you get to the ball, to the bag before the outfielder gets to the ball, you send him. And you saw in that replay, he was already throwing the ball by the time Roland got to the bag.
That's exactly right.
The only thing you could hope for then was a wild throw. It almost was, but as a third base coach, you can't figure that out.
You can't send him there. The throw was actually up the line a little bit, which is where Roland would have been coming from, because he would have circled the bag and he would have been coming almost like you were running from the on-deck circle towards home plate. It would have run right into each other.
So the Reds got what they wanted. The base hit did not get the result they wanted. And a good effort by Span, and the runner holds at third. So it's first and third now. And you're back to the top of the lineup, and Zach Cozart. Cozart started the Reds rally with one out. He comes to the plate here in the 9th. In the first, he reached on an infield hit and then scored on the homer by Heisey. Now everybody's back. I mean, if you're Cozart, do you drop a bunt down? I mean, he pushes it either way, first or third, and Roland should score. That ties the game at the least.
Well, if it's Chris Heisey at the plate, I can tell you what he would do. He would put it down in a 32nd minute.
Cozart's lone hit was in the first. He's 1 for 4. Rip, but foul. And it's 0-2.
Boy, how clutch is Ryan Hannigan. 2 strikes.
Yes, missing inside. Perkins stares at Bob Davidson, wanting the call, doesn't get it.
You have to relish this kind of situation to be successful at it.
That's a call, strike 3, second out of the inning. He went right back to the same spot. He just missed on the previous pitch. There's your second out.
You can take 1 in there, but you can't take 2. Not that close.
So it's up to Heisey. He gave the Reds life in the first with a homer. And he faces Perkins as their last hope here in the 9th. 2 on, 2 out. And you know the way Heisey broke in off the bench as a pinch hitter for Dusty Baker. He was his best pinch hitter 2 years ago. He's moved more into the starting rotation in left field and center the last 2 years. Cowboy, you've been there. I mean, you can have great stuff. You come into the closer's role. It's a different role in the 9th inning.
Yes, it is. It's not how hard you throw it. You got to pitch.
1 ball, 1 strike. Nubbed foul.
That's the equalizer for Perkins right there, is that slider down and in. He gets those right-handers to pull over the top of it, and then he'll go either back in with the fastball or he goes up and away and has him swing through it.
got him, and that'll do it. The Reds will fall a run short again, stranding 2 runners in the ninth. They'll leave 7 on base for the night. And Ben Revere and his Minnesota Twins defeat the Reds in the first of this 3-game set 5-4. 5 runs, 10 hits, no errors, 9 left for Minnesota. 4-9-1 with 7 left for the Reds. Ron Gardenhire gets the win in this first game of the 3-game set. Not the way Dusty wanted to start this homestand in this 6-game set.
No, not after you got swept on the road to finish what looked like a very promising road trip, and now you've lost 4 in a row, and the Pirates are breathing down your neck.
Pittsburgh's win tonight moves them to within a game